If someone followed you around for a single day, quietly observing every decision you made from the moment you woke up until the moment you closed your eyes, what story would your daily actions tell? Would those choices reveal a person who is consciously building a stronger, wiser, wealthier, more disciplined future, or someone drifting, stuck in patterns that lead nowhere? Most people believe their lives change in big, dramatic moments. A new job, a big opportunity, sudden motivation, a burst of inspiration. But the truth is far simpler and far more powerful. Your life doesn't change in a year. Your life changes in a day, because the day is where your habits live. And daily habits are the architects of destiny. Jim Rohn once said, "Success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every day." And he meant every word. You don't need a new year, a new Monday, or a new beginning. You need the discipline to master the small decisions that shape your days. Those decisions become habits. Those habits become identity, and identity becomes destiny. That's why, in this message, we're not talking about theories or shallow motivational cliches. We're diving deep into 10 daily habits that, if practiced with intention, can transform your life from the inside out. These habits are simple, practical, grounded, and rooted in timeless wisdom. They work if you work them, and today might be your turning point. Think about the very first moment of your day, before your feet touch the floor, before you check your phone, before the world demands your attention. You have a window of power, a window where your mind is clear and unpolluted. This is one of the most influential moments of the entire day, and yet most people waste it. They open their eyes and immediately step into reaction mode. Notifications, messages, emails, scrolling, comparing, consuming, all before they've taken one conscious breath. Without realizing it, they hand over the steering wheel of their day to the outside world. But the people who grow, the people who rise, the people who transform, they begin their morning with intention. And beginning your morning with intention doesn't require an hour-long routine, incense, yoga, or a complicated ritual. It requires clarity. It requires a moment where you decide the tone of your day before the world decides it for you. This might be 10 minutes of silence, or a few lines in a journal, or a short reading from a book of wisdom, or a moment of gratitude where you acknowledge the things that are going right. It could be a simple statement like, "Today, I lead my day. I do not react to it." These small moments create a psychological anchor, and that anchor stabilizes your mind before the storms of the day hit. Jim Rohn said, "Stand guard at the door of your mind." Your morning is where that guarding begins. When you master your morning, you master the narrative of your life, because you begin your day with direction instead of drifting into distraction. Once you establish that mental direction, the second habit that transforms your life is learning to manage your energy before you manage your tasks. Most people approach the day backward. They chase productivity while neglecting the source of productivity, their energy. You can't make great decisions with poor energy. You can't stay disciplined when your body is sluggish. You can't think clearly when your nervous system is under stress. You can't show up with enthusiasm when you go through the day feeling depleted. The quality of your energy shapes the quality of your choices, and the quality of your choices shapes the quality of your life. Energy isn't something you get, it's something you generate. And generating energy begins with the simplest possible actions: hydration, breathing, stretching, sunlight, movement. You don't need a gym, perfect conditions, or fancy equipment. You need consistency. A 5-minute walk can wake your body up far more effectively than 30 minutes of scrolling. Deep breaths can stimulate more clarity than a cup of coffee. Stretching your muscles can unlock tension you didn't even realize you were carrying. When you begin your day by raising your energy, you shift from survival mode into creation mode. You become proactive instead of reactive. You feel alive instead of drained. You move into the day with strength instead of weakness. Jim Rohn said, "Take care of your body. It's the only place you have to live." When your physical energy rises, your emotional resilience rises, your mental sharpness rises, and your confidence rises with it. Now that your mind and body have aligned, the third daily habit is committing yourself to learning something every single day. Think about this. Every problem you have in life is either a knowledge problem or a discipline problem. And often, new knowledge solves old problems, but you cannot grow if you are not learning. You cannot expand if you are not feeding your mind. You cannot rise above your past unless you expose yourself to ideas that pull you into your future. Jim Rohn famously said, "Formal education will make you a living. Self-education will make you a fortune." And self-education is a daily responsibility. It doesn't have to be hours of study. It could be 10 pages of a book. It could be a section of an audiobook. It could be a short podcast from someone wiser than you. It could be studying a subject that elevates your skill set. It could be analyzing someone you admire and learning from their patterns, decisions, and philosophy. These daily inputs shape your thinking, and your thinking shapes your actions, and your actions shape your results. Think of learning like depositing into a bank account. Every day you invest a few minutes. Those minutes become hours. Those hours become months. Those months become years. And suddenly you become a completely different, more capable, more knowledgeable, more valuable person. The you of 1 year from now depends entirely on the knowledge you feed yourself today. The world rewards those who outgrow their old selves, but learning alone is not transformation. Learning without action becomes entertainment. And that leads us to the fourth daily habit, acting on what you learn. Most people are drowning in information but starving for execution. They read, they listen, they watch, they understand, and then they go back to the same patterns, the same distractions, the same routines. They treat personal growth like a hobby instead of a responsibility. Jim Rohn would often warn about this. Don't let your learning lead to knowledge. Let your learning lead to action. The moment you learn a principle that can help you, use it. The moment you learn a strategy that can move you forward, apply it. The moment you discover something about yourself, test it. Your life will not change because you know what to do. Your life will change because you do what you know. Taking action creates momentum. Each action, even a small one, builds confidence. Confidence builds identity, and identity builds long-term transformation. A person who takes action daily becomes unstoppable, not because every action is massive, but because every action compounds. Next is a habit that almost every successful person credits for their growth: practicing discipline in small things. Discipline isn't something you're born with. It's something you build, and like any muscle, it grows with repetition. People often wait for motivation to behave with discipline, but motivation is a mood. Discipline is a decision, and you strengthen that decision through small daily acts: making your bed, cleaning your environment, doing what you said you would do even when it's inconvenient, finishing the tasks you tend to leave incomplete, saying no to distractions, avoiding procrastination. These disciplines create a sense of leadership within yourself. You begin to trust yourself, and that self-trust becomes one of the most powerful forces in your personal development. Because when you trust yourself, you stop negotiating with your excuses. You stop delaying your responsibilities. You stop talking yourself out of your goals. Jim Rohn put it perfectly: discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. You can't cross that bridge with wishful thinking. You cross it through small, daily, disciplined actions that strengthen your character and shape your future. Now we arrive at a habit that most people underestimate: auditing your environment every day. Environment is more powerful than intention. You can want success, discipline, growth, transformation. But if your environment contradicts your vision, your environment will win. If you surround yourself with complainers, you will complain. If you surround yourself with people who avoid responsibility, you will avoid responsibility. If you surround yourself with negativity, your mindset will gradually absorb it like a sponge. But if you surround yourself with people who think big, you will begin thinking big. If you surround yourself with disciplined people, your standard for discipline will rise. If you surround yourself with ambitious thinkers, your ambitions will stretch beyond your limits. Jim Rohn said, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." This is not just a quote. It is a warning and an invitation. A warning that your current environment might be holding you back more than your lack of ability, and an invitation to become intentional about who influences your mind, your emotions, your habits, and your beliefs. Your environment includes your friends, your home, your workspace, what you watch, what you listen to, what you talk about, and who you allow into your mental space. Every day, you must ask, is my environment supporting the person I'm becoming or the person I'm trying to leave behind? The seventh daily habit is setting clear priorities before the day truly begins. Many people confuse being busy with being productive. They rush, they hustle, they multitask. They bounce from one activity to another, and at the end of the day, they feel exhausted but not fulfilled. They've done a lot, but they haven't done anything that matters. Busy isn't better. Busy is often the enemy of progress. Successful individuals understand that progress comes from focusing on what matters most. When you start your day with clear priorities, you give your mind direction. You avoid wasted time, wasted energy, wasted effort, and you put your attention on the activities that actually move your life forward, financially, emotionally, personally, professionally. Jim Rohn said, "When the promise is clear, the price becomes easy. When your priorities are clear, your decisions become easier. You stop saying yes to everything. You stop getting lost in interruptions. You stop letting the urgent distract you from the important, and you begin shaping your day instead of letting your day shape you." The eighth daily habit that transforms your life is practicing emotional control. Life will test you daily, people will disappoint you, situations will frustrate you, unexpected events will challenge you, your emotions will rise and fall like waves. But emotional maturity is not about avoiding negative emotions. It's about managing them. It's about choosing your response instead of reacting impulsively. It's about remaining centered even when things go wrong. It's about refusing to let one negative moment poison an entire day. Emotional control isn't about suppressing your feelings, it's about guiding them. It's about recognizing that your emotions are signals, not commands. Jim Rohn used to say, "You must learn to discipline your emotions. If you don't, they will use you instead of you using them." Emotional discipline allows you to stay calm under pressure, stay focused under stress, and stay wise in moments of uncertainty. When you control your emotions, you control the direction of your life. You stop making decisions based on fear, frustration, or anger. You start making decisions based on principles, purpose, and clarity. Ninth is a habit that might be the most important of all: consistency. The world rewards consistency more than intensity. Anyone can work hard for a day. Anyone can stay disciplined for a week. Anyone can commit with passion when excitement is high. But transformation belongs to those who stay consistent long after the excitement fades. Consistency creates identity. Identity creates confidence. Confidence creates results, and results create momentum. Even small, consistent actions, repeated daily, become extraordinary over time. Reading 10 pages a day becomes 300 pages a month. Saving a little money daily becomes financial stability. Practicing a skill for 15 minutes a day becomes mastery. Small daily workouts become a strong body. Small daily disciplines become a powerful life. Consistency turns ordinary people into exceptional ones, and inconsistency destroys potential faster than failure ever could. Every time you break your own promise, you weaken your self-belief. Every time you stop and start and stop again, you lose momentum. But when you stay consistent, even imperfectly, you build a reputation with yourself. You begin to believe, "I follow through, I keep going, I show up," and that belief becomes a superpower. Finally, the 10th daily habit that transforms your life is reflection. Most people speed through their days without learning from them. They repeat the same mistakes, fall into the same patterns, and wonder why nothing changes. But reflection turns experiences into wisdom. Jim Rohn said, "Don't just go through the day, get from the day." At the end of each day, take a few minutes to ask yourself essential questions. What did I learn today? Where did I show discipline? Where did I fall short? What am I proud of? What can I improve tomorrow? Reflection builds self-awareness, and self-awareness builds transformation. Without reflection, you live in repetition. With reflection, you live in evolution. Even 5 minutes of reflection can create a level of clarity that changes how you enter the next day. And when you stack those days together, days with intention, energy, learning, action, discipline, environment, priorities, emotional control, consistency, and reflection, you build a life that is not accidental but intentional. So think about what all of this means for your life. Tomorrow will come. The question is, will tomorrow repeat yesterday, or will tomorrow begin a new chapter? Your future is not hidden in your dreams. It's hidden in your routine. Your habits write your destiny one decision at a time. When you start your morning with intention, you build direction. When you manage your energy, you build strength. When you learn daily, you build wisdom. When you act on what you learn, you build momentum. When you practice discipline, you build character. When you audit your environment, you build elevation. When you set priorities, you build focus. When you control your emotions, you build stability. When you stay consistent, you build greatness. And when you reflect, you build awareness. All of these together shape a new you, a stronger you, a more capable you, a more disciplined you, a more confident you.